This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, it's summertime, and one of the things that we're all looking for is, book marketing, book sales. And one of the ways to get them is through book reviews, and specifically Amazon book reviews. So this hour is going to be dedicated as to how do you get them? How do they stick? How can you find the preferred Amazon reviewers and really hook them to be attracted to your book and support it and get it out there? With me is an expert on exactly how to do it. Debbie Drum has been doing programs and workshops. She has a phenomenal program we are going to be offering to all our AuthorU-Your Guide to Book Publishing listeners. And you want to take advantage of this because there is a difference on how to do it, and there's a lot of ways on how not to do it. And there's some numbers you need to reach. And why do you need to reach it? Because the Amazon gods pay attention when reviews start building up and do cross-promotion. So with that, Debbie, welcome to AuthorU-Your Guide to Book Publishing. And let's just jump into this.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here, and you are absolutely right. Reviews are a very important component of making a sale because we live in a world where social proof means just about everything. Nobody's going to be pulling out their credit cards before they see that other people give that virtual thumbs up, because when we're purchasing something, we're giving up our two biggest resources, our time and our money, and we want to make the best of it. It's a short life that we have, and now that we have all these apps and all these things that we can read where other people will tell us their experience, we're all using that to our advantage.
So Debbie, I do have a question because you mentioned short life. Sometimes some books have very short lives to them. And then when a reviewer is approached, and some of the techniques that you're going to talk about during this hour, is that do they care so much about the copyright date, or do they really care just about, is this a good book? Because, the reason why I say that is that when you're pitching to a library, it is very difficult, and a bookstore, it's very difficult when you start, you're past your expiration date, i.e. the copyright date. That's why, and I should actually throw this out to all our listeners right now, that this show is first being aired in the middle of summer of 2017. It's July. And that with that, any books I'm working on right now with clients as the Book Shepherd, we are putting 2018 copyright dates on them, because they're not going to be out for a few months by the time we're all done. And that I don't want to give a book a shorter shelf life than it really needs to have. And this is very common in publishing, by the way, for all of you listening in. So if you have that you really do want to think about that, once you start kissing August, you should be putting 20, whatever the next year is, on your copyright date. Bookstores will not bring in a new book. Even though you published it in December of 2016, it's considered old, hate to tell you. And libraries, not more than a couple of years old. They won't even look at this kind of thing unless there's this unbelievable demand. Now, of course, you can create it, but it's important to understand that there is a shorter shelf life. So my question to Debbie is that do reviewers care about the copyright date?
You know, the content is the driving force behind the review, right? So, like you said, if the information is relevant to today, I mean, let's just say you published a book 5 years ago, and that book is excellent, but you just didn't know what you were doing in terms of marketing, things like that, and that all that information is still good, still relevant. I mean, that shouldn't matter too much. If you're trying to revive a book that's just like old news, like that's probably a waste of time. These days, as you know, Judith, the cream always rises to the top, and the cream is your content. So if your content is really, really good, it shouldn't matter when you published it. With that said, though, that we always have the ability to update the book or make a part 2 and kind of maybe start over a little bit and then start the process over. So you just have to make that decision.
Well, and you can, if you do, well, with print on demand, it's easy peasy. If you're sitting with a bunch of old books, you have to decide, what do I do? Well, here's a step. What you can do is do, just as Debbie said, you can do a slight revision. You can do a tweak to the title. You can put a new ISBN number on it. You can add that new copyright date and just start the push with all the savvy, wisdom you've acquired since you first started on the journey. And we all do. We all start out limp. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years ago, your cover is probably horrible, right?
Well,
so a couple of changes will do good.
Yeah, exactly. So repurpose is the new black, everyone.
Hey, I like that.
That's the first time I've said that. So there you go. Repurposing is the new black. It could be a cover design, which actually is not a bad idea. It could be a tweak on the title. It could be a brand spanking new ISBN, which will kick it off as new in the eyes of a lot of those people. And especially if you had a book that never really had a lot of push behind it, a lot of following at the time. You got it out there, which is a big woot from us. But that now that we got it out there, now we're going to fix it so we can really, really do the promotion it deserves. So that brings us to Amazon reviews. So Debbie, what do we do here?
Well, I don't know if we have time in this segment, but I'd like to talk about my circle of book sales.
Great.
So you tell me.
I'd love to talk about the circle. Well, you know what? We just split it. If we go into a commercial, we just split it into the next. It's no big deal.
Okay, cool.
So let's talk about what is the cycle of a book sale? That's a great question.
So great. I've come up with this kind of, I have a great diagram of it, but I'll try to explain it. So basically the circle of book sales, when somebody goes to your listing, their eyes are going to shoot to your cover, right? That is going to, it shoots to the top left because the images, we respond so much quicker to images than we do to words. If that cover resonates with that buyer, then their eyes are going to go to the title, right? And the title matches what they're looking for, what questions they have, what subject matter they're interested in. Then it goes to the description. Now they're going to start to read the description. They're going to see, okay, what's this book all about? And tell me a little bit more so that I can get a good understanding of what I'm getting into. If the description sells that person, their eyes are going to go next to the reviews. How many reviews does this book have? What are other people saying? Because they are not convinced yet that your book is right for them until they get to the reviews. And they're not going to read every single review, and they're also not looking for hundreds of thousands of reviews either. They're just looking, they want to peruse, they want to read what people are saying again, right? Because reviews are that critical component of our buying decisions and our purchases. And if all those four things click, then that is what is going to make them press that buy button, right? And then the circle goes around and around and around because the fifth component is actually your content, which I call the driving force, because the content is going to be the thing that creates that review and creates that circle of book sales to go around and around and around for you. So, and this is how it happens. It's pretty simple.
All right. So we do have about 3 minutes to the break. So let's reiterate that. So just do the visual for us one more time, Debbie, and go through that.
First, it's when the customer visits your listing, they look at the cover. The cover, then they go to the title. The title matches what they're looking for. Then they'll go to the description, and then finally they're going to want that social proof before they click the buy button, and they're sold now, and they will hit that buy button. And then the circle goes around when you're.
Great. So let me come in now and just really add to it that one of the things that I try to pound on people when I lecture and I speak with is that you take that cover and by God, it better pop, because it is the beacon. It's the calling card. It's it's the attractor. But the problem is so many times we look at our covers and so much shopping is usually done online. So let's start with the online. You're going to reduce it to 25% of what it normally looks like. So just shrink down. Now, is it readable? Can you see the words? So if you're going to go number one, we've got a cover that's going to have some pop to it. Number two, if we go to the second part, the title, can I read it? We had a client brought in a book. She was really proud of it. I was proud of it. New client. She'd already done her book. He brought it in. I wasn't, the cover looked nice, but I'm not sure what it was about. And it had stones on it, white stones. The print, the font of the print color was white. You could not read it. Unreadable. You got to have a readable title. But then your title must have, whether you're trying to grab them right with a title or you have it in your subtitle, they have to be readable, and they've got to have the key words. Now, if it's nonfiction, you better have a key word that's going to offer whatever the solution, the pain, whatever it is. And then the social proof is where these reviews come. When we come back, this is what we're going to get into. How do you get reviews? With me is Debbie Drum. You're listening to AuthorU, your guide to book publishing. We'll be right back.
Is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Is there a book in you or another? AuthorU will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. AuthorU brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through AuthorU's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, AuthorU is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join AuthorU today through its website at AuthorU.org. Follow AuthorU on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at AuthorU, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. AuthorU, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Have you ever given out copies of your books to family, to friends, to maybe a group full of people with this kind of the string attached? You know, will you go up and post a review and they say, oh, yes, I'll do it. And of course, they never bloody do it. Well, welcome to the club, because that's the way it is. How would you like to figure out a way to do that without ever asking, begging sometimes family and friends to post it? Debbie Drum is going to be talking about that as we go through this hour together. How do you do it to get those coveted, and they are coveted, Amazon reviews? And one of the things, Debbie, that I am telling people, to do when you get a review, that number one, when you recognize it, or sometimes you can click on an Amazon review and it'll review a contact email address of the reviewer, that you can copy paste your review, attach it, and ask them to go over and post it on Goodreads, which is owned by Amazon. But post it, because librarians seem to go to Goodreads far more than they do to Amazon for reviews. So I don't know if you have any input or adds to that, but that's what I've been telling people to do.
Yeah, I mean, of course, getting that initial review on Amazon is the biggest thing that you want to do first and concentrate on. And when I first started with the whole review thing, it was like, okay, well, how do I get reviews? That was just the goal. Now it's a little bit of a different story. It's more like, how can I make powerful connections with people, and more on the side of developing relationships as opposed to, hey, stranger, or hey, Aunt Cindy, or hey, this person, friend, can you write me a review? Because it goes much deeper than that. And the question is like, how do you develop these relationships with people, even if they are strangers, right? And how do you find these people? And that's what the conversation is now going to, because you don't just want that one and done, oh, hey, review my book and I'll never talk to you again. You want to continue on that relationship. And the great part about the world that we live in today is that you're able to do that with social media. There are friends that I have on social media that I've maybe met once, or I've never even met in person, and we're great friends because we stay in contact. And if I ask them to write me a review, they would do it in 2 seconds. Right? So you want to go from, your goal is to go from finding a stranger, a targeted stranger, right? Not just some random stranger who is not interested in your topic, but a targeted stranger, and then translate that relationship into a friendship, so that you always have somebody that you can reach out to, and you can reciprocate, pay back the favor. If they need a testimonial, if they need a review, you can do that. All right, so that's what the conversation is really, for me, going towards.
Mm-hmm. And do you suggest right up front with this? I love the phrase targeted stranger. If we find the coveted targeted stranger who is willing, you're suggesting to go ahead and let them know up front that you also are delighted to reciprocate when they have something that they need a review on?
And I think the first step is really, you talk about like templates, right? We have templates that we send out, and this is our story, and we send it to 500 people, and which one will stick? That's not really the right way to do it. When I used to do outside sales, I used to spend, and again, the world that we live in today, it allows us to do this stuff. Take like 5 minutes. I'm not saying 5 hours. Take 5 minutes to dive a little bit into who that person is. You know, a personal, not story, but some like one sentence that you could say in a message. Hey, I saw that you like hiking. Blah blah blah. I have this book about hiking, and I think you'd love it. And when you try to relate to someone on a personal level, and you also show that you've done your homework, you've done your research, that gets you a little bit less stranger, right? You're now maybe not like so much a stalker, but you're somebody who looked into that person. You care about what they're posting or what they're doing, and you're trying to relate it and then making that connection, right? So that's where this is all. It's not all about how many people can I send this template to, and if I send it to 500 people, maybe 5 people will respond. But if I send this message to 10 people, but I spend a little bit of time looking up what they actually like to do and some of the stuff about their life, then I think I will get a lot farther, right?
So then what you're doing is saying, okay, you got to do your homework, people. There's some homework involved here. And so you're going to go to their website, or maybe you're going to read about them instead of, here's what I typically get when I get these unsolicited, is I see you did the review on Conley's book, blah, 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 or Baldacci's book, and you need like this, and I have a book, and then they go on like that. So they've just done the first step versus maybe something else that they might find.
And it's exactly my template. You can only take a template so far. Yeah. You need to add that. And the biggest mistake, the biggest mistake I see people making, and this is not just have to do with reviews, it's anytime you're reaching out to somebody, is they talk about themselves and why this would be good for them. That, I don't know, Judith, I want to give people lessons every time they do that.
Yeah, and that's when it gets deleted.
I know. That's the worst thing that you can do. You always in marketing, you want to talk about how this is going to benefit that other person, what that other person will get out of it, what experience they'll get out of it. You will get so much further if you take away everything, all the benefits that you're going to get from whatever else happens.
So how do we give it? Let's go through some steps of what someone can do. All right, I'm looking for reviews, and of course we want you to have. Why don't you tell them how to find your template? Why don't we do that, or what you're doing?
Right. So the template, and that's inside of Book Review Targeter. That's included. But essentially, the template, it's no secret. It's really just pinpointing the people who've reviewed a specific book in your niche, and you're saying like, hey, I saw that you reviewed this book. I have a similar book, and it's about XYZ, and here's maybe the bullet benefits, and I'd love for you to read my book and review it, and I would value your opinion because you seem like an avid reader of these types of books, things like that. So that's the template, but in between that template, you want to be adding, something personal, right? Maybe it's okay to talk a little bit about yourself, maybe your personal journey. You do not want to be rambling on for 10 paragraphs or even 5 paragraphs for that matter. In this world, this day and age, we do not have that attention span, especially if we're reading a cold email from somebody that we don't know. Imagine getting an email from somebody you don't know, and it's like 10 paragraphs. Like, no, delete, never read again, block that person, right? But if it's short and sweet and to the point, and you're adding something that's in addition to the template, then you should do better. You should do a lot better. It doesn't mean that you're going to 100% do better, because everything has to be working, your cover, your title, your content, everything, the subject matter. but that will get you far.
Oh yeah, it does, and that's why I think it's a good idea to, when you get over to that person's website, if they have one, or you can find something that they're attached to, or maybe they're a Facebook page, you can even see something that they have posted that you can just pick up and comment on very quickly and connect that way. Otherwise, it was, it's cookie. I actually had someone, I posted a picture of on my Facebook page. We were barbecuing the day before the 4th of July, and we looked over our deck. We had moved last fall, and I looked over the deck. One of the things I wanted was a very small backyard, but by God, in my very small backyard was a young buck, and it was like, he says, "I'm here for dinner," and I just planted the whole garden. We had done all that, and I had the dessert for him, I guess. But, and we don't want him in there, but that we have no fences here, and he just was right up there, attracted no fear of anything. That someone actually contacted me, and I see that you too have challenges, and they got me right away with the mention of the deer. And just a couple of lines about something they went through. And then the ask was there, and I was much more receptive that they had gone just the extra inch to find out something. Yeah.
And the beautiful part about it is that everyone has this misconception of reviews that you need 100 reviews to have a successful book. You don't need 100 reviews. So if you can make 10 powerful connections, spend 10 minutes a day on one person for 10 days, then in those 10 people write you a review, that's a perfect amount of reviews to have that circle of book sales work for you. And then...
Yeah, I'm curious. Is there? You hear those numbers. It used to be 30. You needed at least 35, and then you needed 100, and then the last number I heard is for Amazon really to kick in. It's like 80. Is there? Are you hearing anything?
I will tell you that I don't know the answer to that, but a very smart book publisher who knows a lot.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Want to publish like a pro today? Well, then take a look at Ingram Spark, the only publishing platform that offers print and ebook services through a single source. Upload, edit, and manage titles all in one place. Take more control of printing costs with print on demand, and reach even more readers through one of the world's most extensive distribution networks. Built by independent publishers for independent publishers, Ingram Spark has everything you need to maximize your book's potential: color printing, ebook distribution, print on demand, global reach, and more. Start publishing with Ingram Spark today and see just how far your titles will go tomorrow. That's ingramspark.com.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top-quality books and avoid the not-so-reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All righty, so book reviews, and we were getting into some of those numbers, and I was engrossed in what Debbie was saying, and I didn't pay attention to my producer's cues. So let's come back and Debbie and review these numbers. And my lead into that was I was talking about that, it used to be 35, and then it was 100, and then I heard like 84, and then you said, don't worry about the numbers. Okay, so let's take it from there.
Yeah, don't worry about the numbers. And again, I don't know the hard number fact, but I was speaking to a friend in the business who knows a lot about the algorithms of Amazon, and he was saying that now, today, right, well, I spoke to him about a month ago, so present day, Amazon won't give any favors to a book that has 100 reviews versus 7 reviews, regards to their ranking. So, and what that really, really means is that if you've been paying any attention to Amazon, you know that they've been really cracking down on reviews. It all started in October of 2015, where they started noticing that product owners, right, the products that we buy on Amazon, they were trying to beat the system. They say, hey, if we get more reviews, Amazon's algorithm is going to shoot our product to the top. So the reviews are a huge business, or they were a huge business for physical products, because they were like these sites you can get free products, and then in exchange you'd write a review. So Amazon started to crack down in October 2015. Then in October 2016, what Amazon did was said, you know what, you cannot give a product, we're talking about products, not books, you cannot give a product away anymore for free in exchange for a review. That will be a direct violation of the terms and service, okay? So because Amazon is trying to level the playing field, and they want to get that credibility back in their marketplace, because if you can imagine, and you've probably experienced this before, if you bought a product and you read the reviews were great, and the product came back and it was broken, or it wasn't everything that the description of the product promised. And if this continued to happen, then Amazon would lose a lot of credibility in the marketplace and people would shop elsewhere, right? So now let's talk about books. With books, you can give your book away for free to get a review. Amazon has a system built in. It's called KDP Select. where you can have
Right.
free promotions and you can get reviews in exchange for that. However, they're still not they're not putting as much weight on the reviews as they once did, because they know that people can still kind of trip the system a little bit, getting their friends to review, things like that. I mean, they do have smart programming inside where they can track things better now, because they're really, really serious about fake reviews or dishonest reviews or reviews just to do a person a favor. So if it's like a family member that lives in your household, if it's the same people reviewing your book over and over and over again, like your author friends, it's just not going to fly anymore with Amazon. So they're not putting much weight for the algorithm from the reviews anymore, or they're just getting smarter in knowing that which reviews are real, and then, that will help your book. And ultimately it comes down to, is your book converting when people visit, or they're looking at those numbers as well. So that's why I tell people, don't go crazy in thinking that you need 100 reviews. Just start that cycle, start that process, and start the goal at a realistic number that's not going to break your back. If you have 7 reviews, if you have 10 reviews, then that momentum will start and pick up. And if your content is good, remember we talked about that in the beginning, the cream rises to the top, then you'll see the magic start to happen. And if you're doing everything right inside of your book, which we can talk about, then that will also help with you getting reviews.
All right. So, I mean, but I have to say, it does bug me, because I have bought books of friends, or I've even been involved in the book. I mean, I buy them on Amazon. I am a, verified purchaser, and they still won't post a review. I mean, there's some things that I think that are such solid, wonderful books that I really do want to endorse it. And one of the things I have kind of toyed with doing is just opening another account and use my married name and post reviews
if
that
they're
way.
not tracking by IP address, then
they do.
Then that would work.
Yeah, they do. That's the problem. They do go by IP address.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's all, you can guess that they do, right? But if you went to your local library, or you went to a friend's house and you wrote a review, then that might work. But yeah, that's the life. That's life, right? The bad people ruin it for the good people. Always, always. But
I know. Well, it's it all started. You may all be wondering, how in the hell did this get going here? It's because you could, for $5 through Fiverr and some of these places, you could buy 50 reviews or something, and they would all basically say the same thing. That this book was the best thing that they ever read, etc. And they were posted. So you had this, bombardment. And then Amazon started getting a lot of complaints from people saying this book is garbage. And that's where it really went into high gear and went after it. So I would say, but blame it mostly on outsourcing. The people were doing with outsourcing and paying a few bucks to get a lot of stuff for positioning. So you're going to have to go back doing it a little bit more the old-fashioned way, people.
Which is great for people who actually want to do it the right way, Yeah,
exactly. So, that's what we're doing. Anyway, all right. So that's where that came from. So it's the quality that counts.
Exactly.
And they're also looking for variation or doing it. I mean, I actually it doesn't take me 2 minutes to write a review. I actually think about a review, and I could put a half hour into really crafting a good review. And then I've learned that, make sure you copy it, because Amazon could boot it out and you may have to go back and modify and drop it in again. So, oh, well. All right. So moving on. Okay. So the thing that's important also, we should say, to get reviews there, it helps with cross promotion on what you're doing from Amazon. from Amazon. And one of the things that I found that which was a delightful surprise, was when one of my clients, Steve Snyder, with a book called Shot Down, all of a sudden, within a very, like a 2-month period of time, I had 3 unsolicited emails from Amazon recommending his book to me. Mm-hmm. With his picture. And I thought, well, this is hot. This would cost a mini fortune to have to go buy this stuff. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, my friend Steve Scott got what's called an iOS push. And he's a big author, and his book, and I'm going to say only, he's a big-time author, big list, only had 28 reviews. 28 reviews. And Amazon did a push, and his book was #1 in all books on Amazon.
How cool is that?
A couple days.
How cool is that?
How cool is that? And, you know, he publicly said that he actively used Book Review Targeter, which we'll get into, to get, you know, to focus on those targeted reviews. But it's not like he had 500 reviews. He had 28 reviews. And Amazon did that for him. And he made thousands of book sales between, you know, that day and then like 5 days, you know, ongoing, because people were still opening their emails up. So that just goes to show you, and that's what gets me really excited. I just like popped up because you don't need to stress about this, but you can't ignore it. That's the thing. I will tell you, Judith, your jaw is gonna drop when I tell you this. I just went to the Book Expo event in New York this year. And I, you know, was visiting some of the authors who had booths, and, you know, they were very happy about their book. They were signing their book. They were telling their story about their book. I go on Amazon, and most of them had 0 reviews.
I know.
So here they are at the Book Expo event. They're spending money on giving away free books.
Yep, fortune.
And they're not even taking the time to get reviews.
All right, so with that, we're going to take one more break here, and then we're going to come back and give you step by step what you need to do to never have to go and spend $3,000 in New York at Book Expo, give away a boatload of books and get nothing from it. With me is Debbie Drum. We're talking about getting reviews that stick and count.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider, or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today. 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207. Or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
One of the most important decisions you will ever make is your choice for printing your book. You are choosing a company which will be responsible for guiding you through the process and printing your book at a level of quality and detail that embraces your personal and creative needs. You want to choose a company that when your book finally arrives, you are delighted and ready to move on to the next level, and one that is customer focused. Choose King Printing Company and Addy Books to be that company that brings you to the next level. Go to kingprinting.com or call 978-458-2345 and ask for Tom Campbell.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
During the commercial break, Debbie and I were talking about Book Expo, so I just said, what did you think? We both concluded that it sucked. And here's the problem, that there are people there looking for free books. They're looking for free books. They're really not looking to buy books. It's just almost, and it did not have the content. If you want to learn about anything, and what you really need to do, if you're really thinking about trying to learn how to market your books, where to position yourself, how to promote yourself, I'm going to tell you, forget going to New York and spending $5,000 by the time you fly in, you pay for a costly hotel, if you're going to exhibit, I'm telling you, that's $3,500, that kind of thing. Yeah, come to Denver. September 7th to 9th, the AuthorU Extravaganza will be there. Debbie's going to be there. And AuthorU Extravaganza will give you high content information. You'll have schmoozing capability. You'll be able to meet in person, make appointments with actually publishing service providers, printers, editors, designers that can really, take your book to the next level. That's where you need to be. You need to look for more boutique-y type places versus ones that are trying to attract thousands and thousands. So, we shoot for 200.
Make more money off of you.
That will make more money off you, drain your bank account, and you're thinking, what in the hell have I just done doing it? So you need to be smart on some of this stuff. On that. So Debbie, in our, say, last 10 minutes here, here's what I want to jump into. What's the number one problem authors try to get away with, but they shouldn't?
Thinking that they don't need reviews. I say that the number one thing that you should do as soon as you hit publish, or even before you hit publish, is to connect with other people, to not only write reviews, but I'll tell you, I'm publishing a book on August 1st. I'm very excited about it.
Ooh,
and
fun.
The one thing that I did that changed, in my opinion, that changed the entire book was getting beta readers. And I got about, again, not 100 beta readers. I got 8 beta readers. 8. Just 8. And they added such value to my book. And if you publish your book and you do not get opinions before you publish, that's a really, really big mistake. So your beta readers, what's nice is that your beta readers, right, making those connections with people, those personal connections, can turn into reviewers.
And for sure they will. And then let's talk about a beta reader. Who are they? What's an ideal beta reader?
Right. So the beta readers, the easiest ones to get, I will tell you, is if you have an email list. And you don't blast your email list. If you have a big one, you segment it. You say, okay, maybe this group of people, maybe if there's 150, 200 people, that'd be great, because then you'll get a nice, like I did. I got about eight people. I might have gotten less, because what I also did, if you don't have an email list, because email list is going to be those people know you, right? So
it's gold.
If you don't have an
email lists
list,
are gold. Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you don't have an email list, what you want to do is you want to join Facebook groups. And there's tons of Facebook groups. You don't have to get overwhelmed and join 50. Right? The whole theme of this, and if you ever talk to me, less is always more. Join 3 or 4. And there's some good ones out there. Judith, you have one. There's Pat Flynn's first Kindle book. And you want to find the ones that are where people are interacting, right? Because those are the groups where you're going to have the most feedback. Now, obviously, your book has to resonate with people, right? And that's what we talk about, publishing relevant content. So if you have a very targeted niche, you might not want to join a Facebook group that's just with authors. Maybe you'll join a Facebook group that's in your niche, and you say, hey, I have this book. Would anyone like to give me feedback? And you're more likely to get a response because you're, people are interested in that topic. So whatever it is, you're just making a post and then connecting with people, maybe even private messaging them in Facebook. So it's as simple as doing that. You don't need 100, just get 8. So, and if you can also find beta readers with my software as well. So not only can you find reviewers, but you can also find people who will, test run your book and make suggestions. And you do that the same exact way as you ask for a review. Oh, hey, I'd love your feedback. Can you get, and people will do it. I tell you, I got, people took my book, they put it in a Word document, they even helped me edit it, the places that I missed or whatever. I actually sent my book to beta readers before it was officially edited, too, which was on purpose, right? Because I knew I was going to be adding stuff. So, you can reach out to even strangers. Again, it's that whole concept of same thing that we talked about in the beginning, is adding something personal, relate to them, and you're more likely to get a response.
You are. And also, here's what I want to say, and we want to get off the beta reader topic, that if you're in a writing group, they may not be your beta readers. Your beta readers need to be users. They need to be people who get what you're doing, who understand the value of what you're bringing, especially for us nonfiction people. Or they understand the pain and you're delivering the solutions to it. Not everyone should be a beta reader or is qualified to be a beta reader. And it's just really important. If you're a fiction author and your book is about sci-fi and all this person ever reads is romance, they are not your reader. Understand this. Is really important. All right, so let's kind of switch gears and talk about a couple of things, because we just have really a few minutes left. I want to give us some other tips. So Amazon is hot. You want to go for these reviewers. So Debbie, what can you add to that? We've been talking about that. So right. And let's give them your website also.
Well, you can find me at debbiedrum.com. And, I do a lot more than just talk about books. I talk about marketing and video. I do a lot of video marketing, all that good stuff, so you can see more there. But one of the ideas or concepts that I realized that was important were actually looking at reviewers who are reading other books in my niche and reaching out to those people, because some of them do actually have contact information on their Amazon profile. So if you reached out to somebody who's already reviewing something in your niche, that's a targeted stranger to bring that concept back, right? That's your best targeted stranger. So if you reach out to them, and you tell them a little bit about your book and do everything that we talked about, you'll have a high chance of getting a review. However, the problem is that finding these emails inside of Amazon is a lot of manual work. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, because there's no telling what percentage of people will have contact information. If you have a book, find a book with 800 reviews. You can go through all 800 profiles and find literally 2 reviews, and or 2 emails, and that's like more than a day's work. That's like a week's work. So what my tool does is it extracts, it goes through all the profiles, and it gets the ones that have contact information, that whether it's an email, a website, or any social link, and it compiles that data for you. So we don't compile reviews for you. We compile data, and we're really, really good at it. So with that data now, you can start forming these personal relationships with people and start growing that. And if you just work at that a little bit every day, you'll develop your own Rolodex of people and influencers who will be those beta readers, who will be those reviewers for you, and who will literally be lifelong friends and connections. And
is this something, let me ask you this, is this something an author really needs to do his or herself, or is this something a virtual assistant can help with?
Either one.
Either one. Okay, it's good to know. All right, and then in our last minute, I want you to tell us the number, the step that an author shouldn't skip to make a book go from good to great.
Right, so don't forget to ask for a review inside of your book, because people will be reading your book, and if you do not ask for a review, then you're probably not going to get it. If you ask, you have more of a chance. And the simplest way to do it is if you have a electronic book, a Kindle book, just tell them to swipe at the very last page of your book. Tell them to swipe to the next page. Well, they'll have an opportunity to star rate your book and write a quick review. You don't even need to send them outside of your book. You can just tell them swipe right, and they'll even write a review.
There you go.
Right there.
All right, Debbie Drum, thank you so much for being with us. I look forward to having another webinar with you here. And if you're listening today, we're going to do it today, but you can go to debbiedrum.com and get all the. Have a great week for writing.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each